This is a Nervous Chuckles production. Hey!
I'm reviewing here!
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Bussey, watch and review sight and sound top greatest movies of all time. I am like, this is a bad day. This is a bad freaking day. Let me just quickly talk about my day. Okay, I fixed the pump in my basement yesterday. I unclogged it. It was really clogged. There was all this lint. It looked like, if the devil vomited, it looked like that. Yeah, so the devil is living in my pump. Anyway, I cleaned it yesterday. I did a load yesterday, and that sounds weird. Why do I always say it sounds weird when it's not weird? I'm sorry. Please excuse me. I did a load yesterday and it did not leak. The basement did not leak. It was all fixed. Yes, great. So this morning I went down to do another load and I came down a few minutes later to see if it was ready to go in the dryer. It leaked again. The whole basement was flooded again. Fuck my life. Like, actually fuck my life. I mean, truly. Yeah, so I have to go fix it again. What else happened today? Oh, let's see. I went grocery shopping. I had to buy this first rinse jet fuel or whatever it's called. You know, like that rinse that you put in the dishwasher and it like really, really gets it cleaner. Well, I got it today and I was walking into my apartment and I was like, why is something dripping on my foot? Something had leaked inside the bag and I didn't know what it was. So I rushed upstairs and the whole bottle had basically leaked. Went over all of my, all the food that I got, and it ruined my pants and my carpet. Yeah. Also, let's just not forget the fact that everyone is being a complete idiot today. I was walking my dog today, and this woman did not have two of her dogs on any leashes, so these two dogs just sprinted across the road and tried to like attack me and my dog, and she was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't see you. I'm like, yeah, you didn't see me, bitch. Well, also, why the hell are these not on, why don't you have your dogs on leashes? I'm not gonna rant. Enough ranting for today. Oh my god, there's other crap that happened today, but you know what, it's a good day to rant, because I hated the movie I am talking about today. Now, stick with me. I'm not going to be mean or anything. I might be a little bit, but wowzers. This friggity frickin' movie. This is a movie that I've thought about it for so long. I've done it. I've thought about it, and I've tried to understand why people like it, why critics like it, why it is just, considered to be a classic. I don't understand it. I don't know what I'm missing. Let's just get to it, shall we? This is a movie called Out One.
Mais c'était presque des années, hein, on avait dit.
Et moi, Lily, qu'est-ce que je fais là? Parce que.
C'est Marie qui va faire le messager. Oh, ça swing là.
C'est vous qui m'avez donné un papier?
Non, c'est pas moi.
Mieux vaut, ces temps-ci, utiliser l'angle du hasard. Vous jouez de l'harmonica?
Êtes-vous l'une des 13?
Vous voulez que je vous montre le jeu des 13?
Croyez que vous allez arriver à démêler cette histoire-là?
I don't, Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Out One. This is a French movie. It came out in 1971. It's a movie co-written and directed by this very famous French director named Jacques Rivette. I had not seen any other Jacques Rivette films. I mostly remember him from doing this movie called Celine and Julie Go Boating, which came out a few years after this. It's also considered to be a big classic film. He also did another movie called L'Amour Fou in 1969. Haven't seen him. After this movie, I don't think I want to see him, but I'm going to be nice and I will try and watch them if they're on this list. If they're not on the list, I'm sorry, Jacques. I can't watch. No, just absolutely not. Why am I freaking out like this? Out One is considered to be one of the longest movies in the world. It is almost 13 hours divided into 8 parts. 13 hours. Now, when I first saw that and I knew that I had to watch this movie, I didn't freak out. I was actually really excited because I obviously wouldn't be able to watch it in one sitting, not even 2 sittings. I mean, that's impossible. I knew that this would take me like a week to watch at most, but I treated it like a miniseries, like when you get into a new show, you just binge it, you binge the crap out of it. I binged the crap out of Love is Blind. Like that was so random, but you know what I mean? Like that's how I treated this going into this movie. I was like, okay, I'm just going to treat it like it's a miniseries. Just watch each part, one part every night and see how you feel, see it's nothing to be scared about, really, so that didn't really scare me. That didn't bother me about the movie, I mean. Also, I should mention this movie, so Jacques Rivette, he co-wrote the movie with this woman named Suzanne Schiffman, and it's considered to be a French New Wave movie, too. It's a little late French New Wave. It's kind of considered to be one of the last French New Wave movies. One of the last. There were a ton, a cajillion French New Wave films, but it definitely has a French New Wave feel to it. The only difference is that French New Wave movies, personally for me, I find them very entertaining. I find them not slow. I know that, there's not one big detailed plot in a general French New Wave movie, but they're very, they pin you to your seat in some very odd way. They really do. Like, you look at films by Francois Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard, and the editing is so well done. The dialogue, the look of it all, like the cinematography is so well done. That's not the case in Out One. Out One, it's also known as Out One Noli Me Tangere. I think that's how you say it. It's not supposed to be French. It's supposed to be Latin, I think. That's coming up later. I forgot. I did not memorize the facts for this movie because I don't really want to remember this movie. But why am I so hateful of this movie? Look, I didn't even finish this movie. Now, I know that that's a sin on my part. I'm willing to live with sin. Perhaps why I had all this bad luck today is because I'm always ranting about how you need to finish a movie, even if you hate the movie. And that's why all this bad shit happened to me today. I totally am okay with that. I have not given up on any other film on this list except for Out One. Out One is, in my opinion, the most boring movie of all time. I don't like to be mean. I'm just giving my honest opinion. I could not for the life of me get through it. I got through 7 hours of it and then I had to turn it off. It is unbearable. It's unbearable. And I don't know who the movie is for. I get what it's for a little bit, actually. I take that back. It's a French New Wave movie. It's meant to be for hardcore cineasts. That's what they call huge movie buffs. So, okay. I get that. I still, though, don't know who could bring themselves to making it through this entire film. This is not like an inappropriate movie. It's not a violent movie. It's not an intense movie. Oh, no. It's just slow. And it's made, honestly, for no one. I have so much trouble believing, well, this movie is for film buffs and cineasts, cinephiles. It's for them and them only. I don't believe so. I'm a cinephile. I didn't like it. It's not just about me, but yeah, this movie honestly was just, I cannot believe how much I hated it. I don't like to say it. I know I'm repeating myself. there's a limit to how bored I can get with the movie. There really, really is. If this movie was maybe 2 hours or even 3 hours, I would have liked it a little bit more. It absolutely serves no purpose, in my honest opinion. It serves no purpose. I also should say that, it stars one of my favorite actors. His name is Jean-Pierre Léaud, I think is how you say his last name. He's still alive as of when I'm recording this, and he was a child actor too. He was in The 400 Blows, one of the best movies of all time, the best coming-of-age story film of all time. It was directed by Francois Truffaut. Go see it. Amazing. It better be on this list because I would rewatch that a million times over. He's in this movie, so another reason why I was really looking forward to it. But now, before you, and if you've stopped listening, I understand, but every single movie I review does deserve a little bit of analysis, a little bit of diving in, so let's get started. I'm going to talk about Out One. Here we go.
Plot synopsis.
Oh God, I gotta take a breath. This is a long ass description because it's a long ass movie. Okay, so a little backstory. When asked why the film is called Out One, Jacques Rivette responded, "I chose out as the opposite of the vogue word in, which had caught on in France and which I thought was silly. The action of the film is rather like a serial which could continue through several episodes, so I gave it the number 1. It is very much like a serial, I do agree. Not the food, serial, S-E-R-I-A-L. This whole movie... Look, I don't have experience with serials. I don't. Okay, continue. So from the starting image of a small group of actors lying down with their legs bent back toward themselves, Rivette again focuses his film on rehearsals for a play, a motif present in both his film L'Amour Fou and his debut film. Now, in the case of Out One, the two main anchors of the film are two different theater groups, each rehearsing a different, I can never say his name, Aeschylus? Aeschylus, his play, Seven Against Thebes and Prometheus Bound. And the film does not particularly, oh my god, totally lost track. Does not particularly privilege any character within these groups more than any other. Okay, long story short, we see this theater group in this movie, and they are the most obnoxious people in the world. They act, and we see like 20 to 30 minute one-take shots of them doing, quote, acting. And when I say acting, I mean that they all make really weird, dirty, sexy sex noises and run around and just act like they're on crack, and we can't look away. And it's very obviously that's all improvised. I have nothing against improv in films, nothing against it, but this literally is 20 to 30 minutes again and 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 again. All throughout the movie. I am talking like, imagine that. Over and over again. Oh my god, I have PTSD. I really, really do. Hold on, I gotta move. All right. External to these two groups, two outsiders peripheral to the theater are featured. Colin, played by Jean-Pierre Léaud, a young man who believes that there may be a real-life 13 group in operation. I'll get into 13 a little bit, hopefully, what that means. And Frédéric, played by actress Juliette Berthaud, a young swindler who happens to steal letters which may prove to be communication between members of the 13. Other featured characters include Emily, I think it's like, wait, how do I not know? Oh, Emily, I think is how you say it. I'm sorry. Who runs a local hangout under the name Pauline and whose husband, Igor, has been missing for 6 months. Forgot about that. Michael Lonsdale plays Thomas, the director of the Prometheus Bound group, and there are cameos by some directors, Eric Romer and Barbette Schroeder. I never know how to say his name. He did Single White Female, hands down one of the greatest movies of all time. Oh my god, I need to watch that movie. I haven't seen that in a while. It's been ages. Okay. The first few hours of Out One alternate between documentary-style scenes observing the two troops' rehearsals. Colin soliciting money from cafe patrons as a deaf man by playing irritating harmonica tunes. That I kind of liked. It was good the first time. After the 150th time, I grew tired of it. And Frédéric stealing money through a variety of deceptions. The plot gradually develops when Colin receives 3 mysterious messages in quick succession containing cryptic references to, quote, the 13 into Lewis Carroll's The Hunting of the Snark, excuse me. He quickly connects this to Balzac and begins a quixotic quest, I love that word, to uncover what the messages mean and who the 13 are. Balzac, Honoré de Balzac, he was a very famous French playwright and novelist, and he wrote this big, huge epic novel called La Comédie Humaine, the Human Comedy. I'm going to get to that a little later. Sometime afterward, Frederic casually interrupts a businessman, Etienne, playing chess against himself at home. When she has the room to herself briefly, she attempts to locate a stash of money, but instead steals a collection of letters. Sensing that they refer to some sort of secret society, she attempts to sell them to several of the correspondents in exchange for either money or more information on the group, but fails to gain any information. Only Emily buys the letters, but only because they refer to her husband. Frederic, is that a girl's name? I did not, I'm confused. Okay. The Seven Against Thebes, that's the production, takes on a newcomer, Renaud, to assist in the production, but he quickly begins to take over more and more of the creative direction of the piece from Lily, who recedes into the background in disgust. Their fortunes appear high when Quentin wins 1 million francs at the races, but during the ensemble celebration, Renaud, excuse me, I'm saying it very Americanized, steals all the cash. The production is canceled, and the members undertake a futile search for Renaud, spreading out all across Paris with a photo of him to try to discover his whereabouts. Thomas, brings in old friend Sarah to help work through a creative block on Prometheus Bound. That is the main play that they're doing, Prometheus Bound. But she instead causes a rift within the group, and the play is abandoned after another player leaves for unrelated reasons. It turns out that Thomas' block was largely due to his breakup with Lily after being with her personally and professionally for 7 years. This plot is so hard to follow, not just because I'm reading it, but because, again, the way that Rivette films this, you have no idea what is going on because everything is just one long shot and everybody's talking over one another. And it's just, none of it makes sense. You don't get what's going on. You just don't. Sometimes it's okay to film like that, but you know, in this case, there was no action. There was no plot. Literally no plot. None. Thomas also is revealed to be a key member of the 13, although the group never really was fully functional and had agreed to go into a period of dormancy 2 years earlier. Ironically, a chance encounter between Colin and Thomas motivates the latter to suggest reviving the 13 to Etienne, who was reluctant because the group never really did anything to begin with. One of the main correspondents in Etienne's letters, Pierre, is frequently discussed but never seen, and is described alternately as sinister and childlike. After reading the contents of the letters sold to her by Frederic, Emily prepares packages to be sent to major Parisian newspapers containing photocopies of these letters and purporting to disclose the existence of a scandal involving Pierre setting up Igor. What in the living hell? Since Pierre and Igor are both members of the 13, members of the group are forced to reconstitute to prevent the... Reconstitute? I'd never use that word, to prevent the disclosure, and Thomas, Etienne, and the ruthless lawyer Lucie de Graff, played by Françoise Fabian, great actress, meet to discuss what to do. Frederic eventually meets up with the young man that her gay friend Honeymoon is infatuated with, who turns out to be Renaud. The two become married in a blood ritual, but she suspects that he may be a member of another secret society, even more sinister than the 13. What is this group? I don't get the group, the 13. After seeing him associate with a local gang, she draws a gun on him, but warns him, causing him to turn around and shoot instantly, killing her. Ugh. Colin gives up on the idea of the 13 while it is quietly suggested during a discussion between two other members of the 13, Lucie de Graff and the cynical professor named Warrock, that perhaps Pierre was the author of the messages to Colin, oh my god, oh, shut up, Matt, sorry. Messages to Colin, and has been the invisible hand behind much of the plot, because he misses the 13 and wants to either restore it or replace it with young blood like Colin. That is like a run-on sentence. Who the hell wrote this? Wasn't me. Several of the characters retreat in the end to Emily's small seaside house in Normandy called the Aubade. This is also another reference to Honoré de Balzac, the author, where she breaks down in front of Sarah, confessing her love for Colin, who had been courting her earlier, and Igor at the same time. Her dilemma is solved at the end when she receives a call from Igor telling her to meet him in Paris. She and Lily set off for Paris. I do love Paris. It does make Paris look good. I do. If there's anything I liked about Out One, it made me wish I could travel back in time to 70s Paris because it looked so sexy there. Pretend I didn't say that. Thomas remains behind on the beach at the why do I forget what it's called? Obaid. I'm traumatized. With two of his actors and has a drunken hysterical episode there when he pretends to collapse on the sand. His actors are worried and frantically try to revive him. When he reveals his jest, they walk away in disgust and get in the car to go back to Paris. Thomas is left alone on the beach, crying and laughing at the same time, stranded at the Obaid, and for the first time in the film, part of no group whatsoever. The film then quickly cuts to a completely unrelated shot of Marie, an actress from the Thebes group, who still seems to be searching for the missing Renaud and the money he stole. A golden statue of a Greek goddess, perhaps Athena, towers above her. The shot is held for a second before fading out. The frickin' end!
Choum, qui les vit s'évanouir. Choum, qui les vit s'évanouir, passe le temps qui les gomma. D'autres 13 ont formé un étrange équipage. Équipage, 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 équipage.
Okay, wow. Look, there's nothing I can say besides the fact that this movie was just not for me. And I struggle daily with trying to comprehend why it is considered a classic. I don't get why it's so long. I don't get it. Okay, Rivette's trying to make the whole movie like a serial, so whatever. Things need to be a little entertaining, though. Things need to be a little exciting. Things need to be a little engaging. You need to kind of relate to the characters. I don't mind long movies. Twin Peaks: The Return, that's coming up. I cannot wait to... I won't be able to rewatch it, but I do remember it very well because it's one of the best shows ever. That is like 17 hours long, and came out as a miniseries, but it's considered a movie. I loved it. Didn't understand any of it because it's David Lynch, and he's crazy in a good way. But every single episode lured you in, In Out One, there's just none of that. I just found it to be so pretentiously done, so slow. And again, I think the reason I had so many issues with it is that I don't get who it was made for. I don't know who... If you're into this, it's totally fine. I don't hate you. Everyone's allowed to like whatever movies they like. I just don't know the pleasure or the satisfaction in sitting through Out One. I don't get it. There's no joy. There's nothing. There's nothing there. Nothing. I found it to just be a huge mess. I'm really sorry to report that. This may be, I think, in Vonda's room. That was like episode 4, but don't listen to the first 50 episodes because they sucked. And don't listen to that episode because I really hated that movie. But this, I don't know. In Vonda, you may have a new... you may be okay now. I mean, no, I'm not going to watch you again. But yeah, Out One, I think, beat you. BTS Secrets and Scandals! I'm a little nervous now. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for hating this movie so much. You know what? But it's like I say in the end of my podcast. Say what you want. Do what you want with my body. Oh, I shouldn't sing that. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, I should not sing that. I'm really, really sorry. I forgot who sang the movie with Lady Gaga. Let's not repeat his name. Okay. Some secrets about Out One, public secrets, which doesn't make any sense. But yes, I did mention that the movie, the title for this movie, it's Out One, but it's also Out One Noli Me Tangere, I think is how you say it. It means touch me not, and it's the Latin version of a phrase spoken, according to John 20:17, by Jesus to Mary Magdalene when she recognized him after his resurrection. Ooh. I really like the story of Jesus. I really do. I'm not Christian, but I've always found that really badass. I mean, imagine like dying for everybody's sins and then you get to come back and you're like, yeah, it's good. A shorter version of the film exists called Out One Spectre, like the James Bond movie, while the Touch Me Not subtitle for the original version is clearly a reference to it being the full-length feature film as intended by Rivette. So there is a shorter version of this movie. It's called Out One Spectre. I'm not going to watch it. I think it's 4 hours long instead of 13, but no. La Comédie Humaine, the human comedy. So this is, I mentioned this earlier, this is Honoré de Balzac's 1829 to 48 multi-volume collection of interlinked novels and stories depicting French society in the period of the Restoration, 1815 to 1830, and the July Monarchy, which was 1830 to 1848. So it's very much one of those epic magnum opus films that, has a bunch of characters and everyone is kind of related. Kind of like Magnolia. Remember Magnolia, that movie I reviewed a few episodes ago? Like that. La Comédie Humaine consists of 91 finished works, and this includes stories and analytical essays and novels. And it also has 46 unfinished works, some of which exist only as titles, so we don't know what they mean. Okay, I'm not saying I have anything against Honoré de Balzac. This isn't his fault. I think I just did not like how Rivette handled, well, I don't like how he handled adapting this. I don't get the style of improv and making it super long and boring. That's the one thing that I don't understand. But I am sure, I'm pretty positive that Balzac's book, whatever, La Comédie Humaine, is probably very entertaining. So despite the immense length of the final product, the film was shot under a tight shooting schedule of only 6 weeks. Rivette's preference for the long take was the main reason why such a schedule could be maintained. That makes sense. Because he wanted the performances to have a level of realism, some takes include lines, quote, fluffed by actors, or other common mistakes such as camera and boom microphone shadows, as well as unwitting extras looking at the camera and exterior shots. There's a scene where two young men follow Jean-Pierre Léaud's character along the street during an extended monologue. I could see that. I don't know if I saw any boom operators in the frame by accident, but it's a daring thing to do, definitely. I just don't think it worked. So Out One Spectre, that was the shorter 4-hour version, that was first shown at the Maison de la Culture in Le Havre in France. Years later, in 1990, the full version was shown at the Rotterdam and Berlin film festivals. And then the film disappeared again and did not show up, until 2004. So this movie went into hiding, came back out, went into hiding, came back out. I watched it on Canopy with a K, which I have mentioned before, and it's really good. If you have a library card, use Canopy. It is so good. And then I also found out that this movie apparently is on YouTube, all 13 hours. But look, if it keeps coming back, it obviously has made a splash. I always say made a splash. I can't think of any other idiom, metaphor, whatever it's called. Figurative language. It's obviously appealed to a lot of people still. So, cool. The best moment. Are you serious?
Mais est-ce que je suis d'accord avec les critiques de ce film?
Critics really like this movie. Oh boy. So, but they did agree. Look, this movie, you're going to hate it or you're going to really be amused by it. So they all generally agreed about that. Alison Wilmore of BuzzFeed News said, Out One requires a theater and it requires opting in. Though that, as I said before, is the hard part. After that, all that's left is to surrender to a movie that's like a new country ready to be explored. I like that analogy. It does feel like a new country because Out One, there's nothing else like it. But it's not a good country. Don't want to go there again. Glenn Kenny of the New York Times said, Mr. Rivette's movie delivers an experience that is deeply satisfying precisely because it's kind of exhausting. It is exhausting, but like I said, there's no pleasure. There's no, there's no feeling of, when you watch a really good movie and it all comes together so effortlessly. I forgot what I was going to say. Michael Atkinson from Village Voice said, Out One's length is a strategy against progression, drama, or detail. There are no brilliant, memorable moments, just a brainwashing, an accretion of time that fashions its own rules for watching. It is. No comment again. Nick Newman of the Film Stage said, if there's any truth to the old chestnut that great works of art teach you how to experience them, few films exemplify it quite so fully as Jacques Rivette's Out one. Again, art is art. Not all art is for everyone. Some art people will love, some art people will hate. This is just a sad example of an art that, you know what? I have no regrets trying to watch this movie. I do regret giving up because I'm a podcaster doing a podcast about movie reviews, but what's the phrase? To each his own. That's what people say. That makes sense? Okay, cool.
Is it really one of the best movies of all time?
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this episode of I'm Reviewing Here. I will see you next time. And yeah, in the meantime, get your ass off the couch and go to the goddamn movies, okay? I don't care if it's too hot and you don't want to go outside. The movie theaters have air conditioning. Hello? Hello? Are you stupid? I don't know what that accent was. Thank you all for tuning in. This was fun. And I feel a little bit better right now, even though today everyone's driving me up a wall and I have to go fix a pump again. Bye! Oh, you made it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at I'm Reviewing Here. You can also subscribe on YouTube. New episodes drop there the same day they drop on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review if you'd like. Be mean, be nice, hit on me. I don't really care. Candor really, really is important to me, and, you know, it helps the podcast too. So I really hope you enjoyed it. This podcast is brought to you especially by Nervous Chuckles. That is my fake production company because I make people nervously chuckle all the time because they never know if I'm telling a joke or not. So they're always like, do I laugh? Do I not laugh? Is he serious? Is he insane? Did he get out of the loony? What's going on? So if I made you nervously chuckle, then that means that I did my job, and thank you. There is no funding for this podcast, but if you want to give me money, then, hit me up. DM me. Bye-bye.